The first reading of today from the Acts of the Apostles is taken from the speech Peter made to the crowds on the Pentecost day. We read a portion of it last Sunday anyway. Peter's address, Peter's speech was spectacular, not necessarily because of what he said, but more because of the person of Peter. That address reveals a new Peter, transformed, renewed, and also refined, a post-resurrection Peter, profoundly different from who he was before the death of Jesus Christ. Before the resurrection and Pentecost, Peter was presented as a man who was deeply devoted and loyal to his master Jesus, and also as a character that was marked by weaknesses. He had a very impulsive personality. He was often inconsistent and unstable, sometimes swinging between a man of great faith and then sudden doubt. He was also a fearful fellow who couldn't boldly confirm his relationship with Jesus Christ before a servant. But on that Pentecost day, as we can see from the address he gave, everything changed. The same Peter who trembled before a young girl now stands courageously before a huge crowd and proclaims Jesus Christ. The same Peter who denies knowing Jesus now publicly confirms their relationship and his knowledge of him. The same Peter who was confused now speaks with so much clarity and conviction. Yes, the impulsive personality of Peter became thoughtful, rational, logical, and also intentional character. The same Peter who was fearful, was always afraid, became bold and brave. The same Peter who was inconsistent became a rock and very powerful. Now we can see the progression in Peter's personality development, how it started. Therefore, in the light of this, can we briefly talk about personality development from the Christian perspective? Now, Peter's story reminds us that every human being is in the process of becoming, that every Christian is a work in progress. In fact, to be a Christian is to grow. The growth may be gradual and slow, but ought to be progressive. Now, reflecting on the remarkable transformation in Peter's personality and character, I am led to ask myself, how has my Christian faith impacted my growth, especially regarding my personality development? If I should have an honest self-assessment of my growth, of my personality development, can I actually say that there is a progression, that I used to be this, but now because of my membership of the church or because of my relationship with Jesus Christ, there is now a new me? Can I actually say there is an old Nathaniel, different from the present Nathaniel? Perhaps the old Nathaniel was timid or used to be timid, but the new Nathaniel is willing to take risk. Or the old Nathaniel had an aggressive personality, but the new Nathaniel is gentle and peaceful. Could I also say that the old Nathaniel was impatient with people, but now the new Nathaniel is calm and considerate? What has changed since I became a priest? Can I say that I was this before I became a priest, and thanks to my being a priest, this is now the new me? Since I've been a member of the church and I've been coming to church regularly, what has changed in my personality type or in my character? Sometimes we're not very comfortable engaging in an honest self-assessment. Maybe because of lack of awareness, because there are people who do not see any problem with their bad behavior, even when everybody thinks otherwise, that this is actually bad. There are also people who try to minimize their attitude or to downplay it, or people who try to compare their attitude with someone else's and someone perhaps they classify as worse, and how to feel okay with their own. For example, Peter could have defended his action of betraying Jesus by pointing at Judas. He could have argued, yes, I betrayed Jesus, but I did that under intense pressure. I didn't intend to. It was not a deliberate action. But the other guy, Judas, he did it out of money. So his own was intentional. Between two of us, who is a bad guy here? I think I'm also better off than him. With this kind of mindset, it becomes difficult to accept that a particular behavior or lifestyle needs to be adjusted or changed. There are also people who don't find it okay assessing themselves occasionally or periodically, maybe because of ego or because of environments. For example, if someone is surrounded by people who normalize or condone their particular attitude or habits, they wouldn't see any reason to change it or to grow. It also happens in a family setting. If a child adopts a particular lifestyle, and for whatever reasons, the parents decide to look the other way or do little to discourage that lifestyle, that child wouldn't find any reason or pressure or any motivation to change the behavior, because for them, everybody is comfortable with who I am and what I do. Nobody is disturbing me about it. Some people also go to the extreme. They will acknowledge openly, oh, I know my action is bad. My attitude is bad. What I did was wrong. But that is who I am. There's nothing I can do about it. So may even add to it, that is my nature. I was born that way. There is nothing I can do about it. It is me. Come on, there's something you can do about it. Unless you have decided that you're not going to do anything about it. Because Peter had an impulsive personality. He could have said, that is who I am. There's nothing I can do about it. He could have also said, oh, I didn't say anything to the young girl or to the servants in the crowd because by nature I have crowdophobia, that is endophobia. He could have defended those actions as his nature, and therefore there's nothing I can do about it. But Peter went in and produced a brilliant new version of himself because he accepted that the old Peter was not enough. He accepted that human beings are in the process of evolving, so there's always room for transformation, for adjustment, to do better. So if we look at ourselves today and we try to represent our personality development in a chart or in a graph, how do you think your own will look like? How do I think my own will look like? Is it going to be this way, just progression? Or is it going to be so flat, nothing is happening, as it was in the beginning? Or is it going to be this way, up, then down, up and down again, progression, retrogression? How will it look like, my character or personality development as a Christian? No matter how it looks like, the comforting truth, which is also a very realistic truth, is that all of us human beings, we have got something we are working on. We are only on the process of becoming. Therefore, if you are a type that you have anger issue, or you are very temperamental, or you are foodie, there are people who love food a lot, or you have slippery tongue, you don't know when you say it and you have said it. And sometimes you tell yourself, that is who I am. Or you are timid or shy from social interactions, so you hide yourself away from people, and you always justify it to say, this is who I am, but it's not helping you. Whatever, if we, biology will say that, and psychology too, if we speak something from nature that is not wonderful, there is always a process called nurture where it can be corrected. And that is why human growth is by two ways, by nature and by nurture. So, dear friends, Peter's remarkable improvements in his character, in his personality development, encourages us. Do not always say that that is who you are. There's nothing you can do about it. There is always provision for grace of God. Because when we say there is nothing I can do about it, we're actually closing the door from the Holy Spirit from helping us transform ourselves. Peter was open to the Holy Spirit, acknowledging also by himself and in himself, there is always room for improvement. May God inspire us through the example of Peter, the same Peter who was impulsive, the same Peter who couldn't speak before a servant, the same Peter who was often confused, but he had to produce a new version of himself. I just hope that when I look into my own life as a priest, I can boldly say there is a difference between the person I was and the person I am. There is a difference between the way I react to things before and the way I react to things now. There is also a difference between the personality I presented last year to the personality I have now. How is my chart going to look like? Up or just flat or up and down? Whatever it is, there's always room for improvement.